there are some very serious and uncomfortable situations. And this story is one of them. But in life there is a fate that presents different outcomes, depending on their choices, or maybe they believe that despite their choices, the ending will always be the same. In war, people never realize what the outcome will be. One of the main characters was caught in an awkward situation and was telling the others not to leave her. At that moment, everyone was frightened by the scary creatures that disliked humans. The boy was frightened and cried and said that people like these monsters were too dangerous. Everyone was terrified and shouted at the monsters to stay away from them. But there was only one way, and they had nowhere to run. As they approached the escape point, they knew they were trapped, and the guy was saying there was a cliff. "There's nowhere to go. Tell everyone to hide immediately." But the monsters were very vicious and were ready to destroy everything in their path. The girl was scared and hiding behind a rock. She prayed that she would not be seen. Let the monsters not come in her direction. But the girl saw the monster standing over her, its saliva slowly falling in front of her. The monster sensed her presence and looked straight at the girl. The girl realized that she was in hell and there was no way to save herself. She cried at one point and asked to be kept alive. The guy saw everything and realized it was the Devil's Star. A test for beginners, too difficult. Looking at his bracelet, he thought that the condition of passing the class change task was to last 5 minutes on the Devil's Star. But for an ordinary person to get in here, they can't even last a minute in here. The young guy who is participating in this mission is called Jiang Kai. He is currently on a rookie mission on the planet Devil's Star. The Devil's Star, it's a huge planet not far from Earth that came out of nowhere 50 years ago. The appearance of this planet did not cause any gravitational collapse and did not affect the Earth. But it wasn't that simple. After all, after her appearance, plants and animals suddenly evolved into divine beasts. Chaos reigns across the planet. Modern technology can do nothing against these creatures, and because of them, people were on the brink of extinction. But in a moment of utter despair, many portals appeared on Earth, but the humans went and were willing to fight for their planet. After passing through the portals, people came to the Devil's Star in the form of digital copies. The moment they arrived, they realized that this place is a highly realistic simulation. Here you can get a variety of professions. Each of them has its own characteristics, equipment, and skills. People can level up as if they were game characters and become stronger by several times. One day, it was even discovered that after reaching a certain level on the Devil, one could return to Earth with those powers. At this level, humans will be able to fight off beasts and reclaim the land. If humanity wants to live in their homeland, they must get as much as they can from the devil, and the people who dared to go to the star were called pioneers. Kai saw in that moment that things were bad because he was the only survivor. But he had nowhere to go. Kai felt that this time he too could bid farewell with his life, for the monster was above him. Kai thought, had he really spent all of his family's savings, only to die in a place like this? Kai remembered his little sister telling him that if he wanted to, let him go to a star. She and his brother would try to save him money for it. Kai remembered that his little sister had experienced so much hardship in order to save that money, and his brother continued to work hard, ignoring the diagnosis of kidney failure. If he didn't collect for the surgery within 2 months, it would end badly, and he realizes that he's going to die here today without even getting a profession and spending all their money on it. Kai suddenly heard the monster scream and saw it heading towards him. He decided to run away rather than wait here to die. He would risk it for his family. Kai immediately saw that he had no other choice. He decided to throw himself off the cliff. After all, he needed to grab any chance he could. In the moment, Kai saw that the system came out in front of him and said that she congratulated him because he got a chance at $1 million and discovered a hidden profession. The system has informed him that he's closed the career change quest, and they hope that he can glorify himself as its user. After spinning the carousel of professions, Kai fell into the profession of gambler. And he was a little surprised at his good fortune. Given the opportunity, Kai managed to survive. He stood up to look around and wondered what was going on. He didn't feel any pain after falling off the cliff, and all the wounds from before had completely healed. In a moment, the system popped up and said that after the change of profession, his characterization was updated. And that's tantamount to his rebirth. Kai asked her, is she the artificial intelligence of the Devil's Star? The system replied that he could assume she was. And she congratulates him on his successful career change, and now she would explain to him what talents he had gotten as a gambler. He was the first to get a talent after passing a level. Hearing this, Kai couldn't believe it and asked what another profession talent while others only get one. The system responded that it was correct. And his next talent is as follows. The critical level from his attacks is increased to 20,000%. The initial chance of a critical hit is 0.1%. Kai listened and asked, what was the total of 36 characteristic points? After all, normal players only get 20 after changing professions. Where did he get 36 from? Even they could be multiplied? Kai thought about it and realized that he would get 20 points for each new level instead of 10. But does that equate to the fact that he will grow twice as fast as the others? Kai started to get interested in the system and saw that he also had super crit. Other players have only 200% critical damage, but he has 20,000%. Kai rejoiced that even though his chance was only 0.1%, he would be able to raise it, and then his damage would be abnormal. Kai, walking through the forest, remembered that this was the weapon that thing used. He had only planned to change his profession after arriving here and earn money for his brother, and even his with the weakest profession on the Dev Star can make a lot of money. Kai immediately drew his weapon and thought that he never imagined that he would get a hidden and so powerful profession. Kai looked into the distance and with confidence he decided that he could save money and his family's life would get better. The system opened up in a moment and said he had completed the profession change quest. Let him complete the quest by getting to the city of the gods safely. Kai realized that this was still just the beginning. The next thing he had to do was to complete the quest for the training area. The guy immediately set about the task and said that his main goal was to reach the city of the gods in 7 days. And getting there in one piece is extremely difficult. The newbie zone is overrun with monsters, and upon death the quest will fail and the player will be teleported back to Earth. And the body on Earth will not be harmed in any way, even if it dies here. After that it is possible to get here again. But that little problem is only for the rich. It costs a fortune to reload your profile in DevStar. The rich are not limited in trying, but the poor ones like him have to get through it on the first try. And then Kai sees that something is glowing in his direction and monsters can be heard screaming. Kai immediately said that he heard a familiar scream. Could it really be the guy who was with him? At this time, a guy was fighting monsters in the forest and shouting for Lord, fallen him. The guy's name was Yuan Zhu, a childhood friend of Cai's. Kai immediately realized that it was true Yuji. But there are snakes in the trap. Their venom is extremely strong, even human-like beasts will die out from a single bite. He's in danger, and then Kai made up his mind and yelled to Zhu not to be afraid. The guy in a moment ran out with a gun and yelled that he was here. Zhu was surprised and asked Kai why he was here. He shouted at Kai to forget about him and run away. After all, these snakes have very high characteristics, and they are also poisonous. They don't stand a chance against snakes. Kai replied not to worry. And in a moment he saw a snake being thrown at his friend from behind, and unleashed his weapon to save him. Zhu turned around with fright and seeing the dead snake asked what could he kill them? Kai saw and realized that everything was fine and Zhu was distracting them, so he could attack from the blind spot. But now it's different, because they're targeting him. And now he's gonna have to do things differently. Zhu shouted to Kai to be careful, for the snake has high agility. Kai did a somersault at the same second and dodged their attacks. Zhu watched him fight and was shocked that his friend Kai could dodge something like that too. Kai realized that his stats were twice as high and equal to a level 2 snake. That's how he thought that level 1 snakes were no match for him. Kai picked up his weapon and ordered Zhu to keep firing them back at him. Zhu heard his words and replied that it would be done. Zhu turned around after a moment and said that he didn't have time to attack and Kai had already really killed everyone. Kai opened the system and saw that his profession had high dexterity but little strength. That said, the damage was enough to kill level 1 monsters with one hit. Kai realized that his iron spear was a great way to increase his strength for a while. And strength is the basic characteristic responsible for a star attack. Zhu immediately ran up to Kai and said that he had heard that the newcomers had died at the hands of monsters, but not the other way around. How could he do that? Kai replied that he was lucky in that he had gotten a profession as a gambler. But let him not dare to tell anyone about it. The gambler was surprised to hear about it and said he didn't know, but his profession is pretty good. Kai, seeing his characteristics, was also surprised, because his friend is already on a martial arts master. And now it was clear how he held his own against the 3 snakes. But in 5th place to the realm of the gods, But the first thing, once here, people have to get a profession, which he will get depends on the quality of the material he has in front of him. The rich spend tens of millions on materials for themselves, and that's how they get very strong professions after getting here. In this case, the poor cannot afford good materials to get a profession, so they are weak, and the professions are given out randomly in turn. Kai said that a martial arts profession costs at least 50 million. Did he take out a loan? Ju replied that it's not like that. The story is long, tell him later. Kai said then we need to collect materials from the snakes. As he knows they can be sold, the money earned here can be exchanged for the currency of the land. It will help him and his family, and speaking of Devil Star items, along the lines of remains and equipment, once obtained they turn into cards that can be transferred and sold, and judging by the battle, the gambling handler is stronger than the martial arts master, but suddenly someone approached them and said hello. Kai immediately turned around and asked who was there. A girl appeared in front of them and replied that her name was Sue. She can't pass the test by herself, and can they accept her as a team member? Kai's response was for her to forgive them, but they were difficult on their own. And it will be even harder with her. So told the boy not to leave her. She is a healer and can heal all wounds. She can also extract venom from snakes and improve their weapons. If they can still find them. And asks them not to leave her behind. Ju was surprised at her words and asked that she could both hit and buff. How cool does that sound? Kai thought and realized that healer was one of the 10 valuable professions. It would have been nice to have a healer in this trial. If he hadn't regenerated, then he would have died by now. Kai introduced himself to Sue and said that his friend Ju was beside him. They would get to the destination together. When Sue heard these words, she was happy and thanked him. Ju went to Kai's ear and asked if he liked her and changed his mind. Kai replied that he was about to punch him. At the same time, in the realm of gods, Zhenjiang City, in the Devil Star portal, base 18 something indescribable was happening. In the research lab, this professor said that wristwatches are a great invention. They can pinpoint the location of pioneers on a star with high accuracy. Just then a girl came up and replied that that was it. As she knows, most watches on the market easily give out all kinds of devil data. And the more expensive the watch, the more functions it has. Freshman test inspector Su Lanlan asked Professor Lee, "How's it going? Is her little sister okay?" Lee replied that judging from the GPS, most of the newcomers had already been weeded out. And her sister Su Aai is now on a team with 2 people. Lam was surprised to hear such information and asked, what was she so cowardly to join a team with others? She had told her not to join teams. After all, the more newbies gathered in one place, the more monsters they attract. 3 minutes later, Lee replied that it was indeed like that. There were 2 Luda-like monsters besides Sue. Lan said it's bad. There's even one too many for a group of rookies. And against 2, Sue doesn't stand a chance. Death on a star is the same as losing a character in the game. Their body on the ground will take no damage, but the psychological trauma of the experience can do serious damage. The losing guy lost control of himself and screamed that he saw the monster bite him off piece by piece. Lan ran off and said she was taking Sue away for psychological tests. Lee stopped her and said that she wasn't dead yet. Lan was surprised and asked what? Lee replied that 2 Luda-like monsters had died. Lan didn't believe it and asked him again, what happened? And going back 3 minutes, the monsters saw them and started moving out in their direction to kill the guys. Ju was startled by them and asked what the hell was that thing? Su replied that from the looks of it, it was a Luda-like beast. Let them run faster. Kai was the fastest of them and saw that things were bad. They are not so nimble. Jio and her would fall into their clutches. Kai decided to stop at this point and shouted to Jio to speed up a bit. Kai told his friend to run, because he could take care of it himself. Kai understood everything and foresaw that if they continued like this, they would all die together. And he would stay and kill those beasts. Kai used one of his techniques to charge at the monster with his weapon, and plunged the blade straight into its chest. Kai rejoiced and realized that he had hit the target. But then the monster came to his senses and sent the guy into the wall with his hand. Kai was in a lot of pain and he thought how much health he had that he didn't manage to kill him with one hit. The monsters saw that the guy wasn't doing anything and decided to pounce on him and kill him. Kai immediately straight up wondered if he was going to die in the rookie trial. It must be the end. Su turned to Zhu and said that Kai was in danger. We need to save him. Zhu was very afraid and froze for a few minutes. He immediately recalled his time living in the residential area of the polluted river. Mal asked the man that he was the one who gave Zhu the materials to work with, but she's not sure how they rate him, but her Zhu, even though he's tall, is very timid. If he meets a monster, he will hardly dare to fight. The man replied that that was right, her child was afraid of monsters quite a lot. But he realized that Zhu would never leave anyone in trouble. And he would not be timid in such a situation. Zhu realized that everything was still in his hands, and getting angry, he pounced mindlessly on the monster with his attack. Zhu asked Kai that he decided to protect him because he thinks he is weak. Kai immediately realized that Zhu is a loyal and great friend after all. Zhu attacked the monster with his fire technique and told Caillou that they were brothers. And brothers should try their best together. Zhu picked a good moment and continued that brothers should die, too, together. Kai at this moment saw a bright light flashed and thought, would you be able to finish him off with one blow? Even though the damage was not much, Zhu paused over the monster's body and Kai thought, could a martial artist do such a thing? Su saw that Kai was injured and decided to heal him. She used all her skills and shouted to the guy to catch him. Kai was surprised and asked Su what she was doing here. She's not a fighter and it's very dangerous to be here. Su immediately shouted to him that she wouldn't leave. A doctor should treat people no matter what fear. Su had remembered all her life that her father had lost the support of the healers during the monster invasion and died because of it. Su has stuck to the other since then and responded to the guy that when her team needs support, can she ditch her? Kai felt himself gaining energy and his strength was being restored. And in a moment he saw that his life cycle was 100%. Kai couldn't believe such a thing, that his wounds were all healing. He gathered his strength and replied to Su that she really wasn't afraid of death. Su analyzed the battle and saw that even together, they wouldn't have enough damage to kill a Luda-like beast. At the moment, Kai stopped and remembered that Su had said that if they met the likes of them, she would be able to extract poison and enhance their weapons with poison. Kai asked Su, she can extract poison, right? Su was surprised at his question, but said yes. Kai pulled a snake out of her box and asked if she could heal Zhu and extract the poison at the same time. Su immediately replied that she wasn't sure, but she would try her best. She decided to get started right away, even doubting herself. Kai saw Su channeling energy directly into his blade and thought that if he guessed right, they could win. And he realized that he couldn't stand one-on-one with the beast right now, but Zhu could. But his damage wasn't enough to kill the beast, but with Su's improvement, if you look closely, their team is a great example from the games, a combination of tank, hell and hitter. Su told Kai that the poison application was complete. Kai thought, what did it matter if he was a beginner or not? Kai ran to help, shouting to Zhu to hold the beast for him. Zhu heard him and replied that he would do it now. Zhu attacking saw that they were now working as a team and fulfilling their roles in the moment of battle. Kai realized that even if someone found out that some newbies like them had defeated the Luda-like beasts, they would be able to come and challenge them. Kai managed to kill the beast. The system jumped up in a second and said he killed a level 2 Luda-like beast and gained experience 5 out of 100. Zhu was very much surprised and couldn't believe that it worked. Su was happy too. After something like that, Kai saw and felt that teamwork really helped. But another monster had come out. The boys were already fully confident and gave a friendly shout that they would beat him too. Lan watched the battle and asked Li that did the wristwatch really shine? Were they able to kill 2 beasts? But how did the 3 of them handle someone who could single-handedly kill even a much larger group? She asked. Li replied that it's really like that. According to Su's watch, it can't be said that she has enough strength. The pioneers on her team are also not strong enough, and the only one that stands out from the room is Kai. His profession was not found in the system. Lam was surprised and asked, not found? Is that even possible? Lam thought the power to kill 2 Luda-like people, but the profession is unknown. But what kind of character does this newcomer have? The system immediately showed them that player Kai had picked up the corpse of a level 2 Luda-like beast, lying on the ground after the battle. Su said that they had done well. Zhu was happy too, and replied that he didn't expect Brother Kai to be so smart. Xie stood up and said that since they had the strength to do such a thing, they would pass the test without a problem. Zhu replied that they could go to the very finals right away. Kai thought and interrupted them to say that there was no need to hurry, there was still plenty of time before Sharangssi. It would be better to slow down a little. The boys were both surprised at these words of his. Kai asked them, they know that after the test they give points, don't they? The first 3 in the OP will be rewarded with equipment. This equipment received after training is very good for a beginner. Since they can kill beasts, they can get points for their corpses, and with more points, they can claim top 3. Why not kill monsters for points and equipment first? After a few hours, Su asked that Kai really thought it was worth it to earn points like that. Ju said that even though Su may ask to bait the snakes, but he is afraid. Will he really die first? Kai told Ju to be brave. He's a martial arts monster after all, he's made to be as a tank and a damager. Besides, they can always be treated by Su. And it won't be so easy to die. Kai saw the snakes coming and rushed to kill them. The system immediately showed him that 3 level 1 snakes had been killed and 10 out of 100 experience had been gained. Kai remembered that on the star there was a rule that the one who kills gets the experience. And since he was the only one who could kill, they decided that he would be the first to get experience. Kai took his time at this point and waited for the right moment to destroy all the snakes with one blow. And that way he would ensure his team's safety. A day later, they had gotten through the whole thing. The system said that player Kai was to be congratulated for achieving an experience of 100 out of 100, and his level is upgraded to 2nd. Also the multiplier effect is triggered, so he gets double points. Kai looked at the system and said great. In just 1 kill of land snakes, he had risen to level 2. Su got excited and said that she congratulates Kaya for leveling up. Let him tell me if he can feel the improvement. Kai replied that he had added 20 characteristic points. He now has 56 after his level up, and then the guys were shocked at his achievement and couldn't think of how he managed to do it. Su immediately asked him how many points. Ju saw his characterization and said that they usually gave 10 points, but how did he get all 20? And what's more, at 56 points at level 2, it looks like Kai's strength is already up to par with level 4. That's a lot of money. Kai replied that it was all thanks to his special profession that the rewards doubled. But the punishment was also doubled, so he must not do badly. So told the guy not to look at the fact that she didn't fully understand his profession. She's very cool. Ju was angry at this time and couldn't forgive himself for this. After all, Kai's achievement was much cooler than his martial arts master. And then the light came on and the system popped up. It said that since the player had reached the 2nd level, he was entitled to 1 new skill. But since he has the multiply talent, his skill is doubled. Kai got excited and asked that at level 2, he could get a new skill. Moreover, would he get 2 at once? Ju was surprised to hear this and asked the guy that he could do this too. That's really great. The system replied to Caillou that everything was correct and he was granted the skill card in Ghost Hand. When he throws it, the strength of the flight is increased by 20%, and the 2nd skill obtained is focusing the Ghost's Eye. This time its range of vision is increased by 50% and its energy consumption is increased by 100%. Kai thought about it and said that he had 2 new skills. Although he hadn't quite figured them out yet, they seemed to be very useful in his profession. Kai told the guys that he had gotten stronger so he could go on to earn experience points. Ju was thinking at this time, but why is his friend always lucky? 2 days later, Lee reported to Lan that it had been 2 days. But surprisingly nothing bad was happening to her sister. Lan was surprised and asked, "Really?" A newcomer comes out. I think his name is Jiang Kai. Just then, a guard ran up to them and started yelling that he had an urgent announcement. There is danger in the pledged territory. And he's asking everyone to gather. The head said that the enemy country had sent their people to the newcomer zone. An invasion was expected. He immediately told everyone to make preparations. This guy was from Jiangzhou City and was the commander-in-chief, Wei. Lan asked, "Is it true about the large-scale invasion?" Wei sighed and replied that if it was a lie, he wouldn't have come here. Lan immediately realized that they would be attacked by stowaways is a special profession of the enemy country L. They specialize in killing newcomers. The rookies who didn't make it through the defense wished the rest of us good luck. The guys replied that they would try their best. Advanced players cannot and should not enter the beginner area so as not to hinder development. But the stowaways of the L country are different. They have special skills that allow them to infiltrate another nation's territory. And what's more, they use very brutal methods of killing. And the newcomers tried to resist them, but they were ruthless with him. Their goal is to make newcomers fear the Devil Star. increasing the chances of other players to successfully pass. Lan got angry and said that Su was too weak. If it was the beasts that attacked, things would end up miserably. Wei told his men to prepare the newcomers. The large-scale attack of the stowaway army had already begun, and so now they must prepare for the fact that none of them will survive. As they continued on their way through the forest, Kai stopped abruptly and looked back and said that something was coming at them. Zhu asked what was the matter. Kai immediately raised his spear and replied that there was something there. Zhu asked Kai what he was doing. They should get going. There is nothing there, after all. Kai replied that they were wrong. He was a little farther away. He decided he was using his ghost eye focus. Using his eye, he sent the spear straight into the forest because of all his strength and said there was something there. The spear went like a speeding train through the whole forest and hit the target. Kai immediately ran up and said it worked. Zhu said that there was nothing there. What kind of eyesight does he have? Running up to the target, the system said that Kai had killed a level 2 wild boar and the current experience was 199 points out of 200. Zhu was surprised and said that the guy had such a keen eye. How could he spot a boar from so far away? He killed it too. Kai pulled out his spear and replied that it was no surprise. It was all thanks to his new skills. The system asked the guy if he would like to get a wild sheep carcass. A wild boar carcass with sharp spikes can be used for weapons. Caillou was given a choice and he immediately decided to start. He agreed. He realized that the current skill card in the ghost's hand increased the damage. Thanks to the focusing of the ghost's eye, the vision got better, now being able to follow the attacks. In other words, the enemy didn't even notice him. Kai realized that he was only 1 point short of level 3. He told the boys that they needed to kill some monster. Xie straightforwardly agreed. But Zhu said that he was still at the first level. At this time, the monster, someone from the water, laughed and told the captain that the second team was very lucky. He didn't think it would take so little time. And now, it was time for their entertainment. Kai sensed them in a moment and asked who they were. The stranger took up his blade and replied not to be afraid. They were good people after all, and even if only to rip out his chest and make him bleed to death. Or skin him alive and then feed him to the animals. And then another guy came out of the water and said that basically they had the same goal, not to let the rookies pass the test. That was the smuggler captain of the second team, so saw them and turned to Caillou and said she knew them. They seemed to be stowaways who specialize in killing newcomers. Zhu was surprised and asked, "What did she just say?" Su checked the bracelet and said that they are all above level 3, the highest level is level 5. Kai looked around and saw that there were a lot of people here. Was everyone really on level 5? His current specs can at best pull off a level 4, but not a level 5. The smuggler turned to his brothers and told them not to stand still. Kai immediately realized that he had to do something. Kai ordered Zhu and Su to stick together. He needs to split up with them. The boys replied what they heard. The smuggler asked, wondering if he was just now deciding to spring into action. Are they all so slow? And the other two, he ordered, to go after them in pursuit, while they amused themselves with these ones. The two who were chasing Kai said he was fast. But he's not getting away from them. Once deep in the woods they stopped in a moment, for the boy had disappeared from their sight. The guy asked his brother if the rookie decided to play with them. The other replied that he was so excited. As soon as he finds him, all his legs will be broken. Kai immediately used his vision and catching the guy's blade said he decided to fight them. But Trash is no match for them. But a second attack followed, the moment the guy was distracted, and before he could react he got hit. The other guy was surprised and said his brother flew up. Was he all right? But turning around he saw that the blade had pierced his chest. Kai walked over and asked, "Do all stowaways die so easily?" "I guess there's nothing to be jealous of." The guy opened the system and asked Kaya, wasn't he a rookie? How did he manage to kill his level 3 comrade? The guy was surprised and couldn't believe such a thing. He asked that a rookie at level 3 attributes were only 45 units. And he already has 60? How was that possible? Kai didn't play around with him and in a moment released a few knives while the guy was reading his characterization. Kai saw that he had done well. His general characteristics are as good as level 4, so he was able to deal with level 3 as well. Kai suggested running away to attract a small portion of the stowaways. After all, it's more convenient to kill that way. Kai approached his own and realized that he was almost to level 3, and if he killed the stowaway. But then the system popped up and said he'd managed to kill a stowaway. Before the victim's body is dispersed, does he wish to appropriate his experience for himself? And after that, he can get up to 100 experience points, which he won't need. Kai replied that he agreed. So it's more experience just for killing stowaways to get it. And you don't have to kill monsters? And in that case, he needs all of their experience. Kai replied to the system that he agreed to all her suggestions. The system, handing him all the points, said congratulations on reaching level 3. Kai heard this and said that he had finally made it to the 3rd level, and now the total attribute score is 76 points, while level 5 stowaways only have 60 points, and now it's time to go back and show them your strength. At this time, the other guys were already exhausted and frazzled. The warrior said, martial artist and doctor, I didn't think they would stumble upon 2 top professions at once. These are very good professions, and it is time to torture them to death. Su turned to Zhu and said that Kai was chased by 2 stowaways. Will he be able to return? Zhu replied that it would definitely work out. He would never give up so easily, especially with a girl like her around. And when his friends and family are in danger, nothing matters. The smuggler said, foreplay is over, let's go. Kai surveyed the area all this and said it was time to act. He immediately jumped on all of them to save his friends. He released his spikes in a moment and sent them straight into the target. Su saw them all die time after time, and it seemed to her that Kai had survived. Zhu said he knew it, he knew Kai would be back. The smuggler asked, who's there? Did someone sneak in here? Let him come out and they'll fight. The smuggler began to look around and realized that he couldn't see where he was. Maybe there was some new profession. If that was the case, then run. We've got to get out of here. The smuggler immediately started running away. Su was surprised and said that the stowaway was running away. Kai started running after him and asked what he wanted to leave after hurting his little brother. Kai used his eye and said that his life belonged entirely to him, and immediately sent his blade straight into his chest. Kai said the stowaways were over. He asked Su, was she okay? Su got excited and said that Kai was back. Su ran to him and told him that Zhu was seriously injured, and she can't help him. Zhu cried and told Kai that he knew his brother would come back, but he won't go any further with them. He can't go any further. Zhu told Sayu that the adventure with them was his best memories, and now let them take his share. Slowly closing his eyes, he told them to try hard to pass the test. Su cried at that moment, realizing that her friend was killing her. Kai jumped on him at that moment and punched him, telling him to get on with it. After all, he purposely didn't kill stowaways so that someone could replenish their experience and recover. Su said that in the Devil Star, you can recover by taking experience from another player. Zhu asked that it was possible to do that too. In that case, he is saved. Kai said that's what he thought he was faking. Anyway, those stowaways weren't going to let him live, were they? So he doesn't pity them either, and he wishes them a good subsequent reincarnation. Kai asked the guy, isn't it cool that he's going to be their donor? Zhu, reaching out his hand, said that they would take advantage of his willing sacrifice. Let the demons stay away. At this time, the guys in their base woke up and were screaming that they were all scared. They had been destroyed by some rookie. He's too violent, and took away all the experience points. The top of L City asked, what else is wrong? How could stowaways get hurt like that? Is there really a new profession out there that can stand up to stowaways? At the same time, in the realm of the gods, Li said that things were not good. Based on the latest information, Su and her team had encountered stowaways. Lam was surprised and asked what? Wei said that no newcomer had ever gotten away from a stowaway. Let them prepare for her demise. Li replied that no, he didn't think so. Su didn't die during the battle with the stowaways, even on the contrary, they increased their level. Lan asked, surprised at what? Wei asked, how come? How did they manage to level up when fighting the stowaways? Could it be that they helped them kill the monsters? Li replied that no. Su couldn't reach a new level so quickly by killing a stowaway. She had ascended 2 levels. Do they think it's possible that she killed a stowaway? Lan immediately dropped the glass and turned to the commander. Wei also jumped up and was telling them to quickly show him Su's command data. Wei looked at Team Su's stats and was very surprised, saying that they had all reached level 3. Without killing stowaways, they wouldn't have been able to rise 2 levels in such a short time. Lan asked, is that possible? It's not like Su doesn't have combat abilities. Could it be that Kai has dealt with all the stowaways? But that's really weird. Wei responded that his intuition told him that it was his doing. Why was he undecided about the indicators? Li replied that he had found information to that effect. All travelers are given a special watch to determine the information, but Kai's is the oldest. The server of this model was discontinued more than 10 years ago, and they are not connected to the internet, and that's why they can't access his information. Lan asked that all these years he's been using antique watches. Vi smiled and said interestingly, have them gather the real information about Kai's performance for him. He wishes to see his performance. Ju got excited and said that was awesome. And he didn't think he would recover the full volume of life. Su looked at her characterization too and wondered if she could do it too. Ju continued, what's more, he had obtained the professional skill of stomping the ground and could strike the enemies that were nearby. Su said that she had also obtained a new skill, namely healer benevolence. Now her abilities would improve. Kai was also excited and said that these were very worthy skills for a healer and martial artist. Ju turned to Kai and said that he was now one level higher. Maybe he could fight on equal footing with the stowaways now too. Kai opened his system and replied that actually he had leveled up too. Ju was surprised and said that when did he get to level 4? Just that the second one was after all. Su saw it and also said that he was also the one who earned 96 attribute points. Such stats were the equivalent of level 8. Kai replied that when he killed 2 stowaways he was given level 3, and when he came back here and killed 5 more he was able to reach level 4. Ju yelled that he was better than him again? How infuriating for him to hear that. Su asked Kaya, what are they going to do next? Kai replied that he heard their captain say that they belonged to the second group of stowaways, which meant that there was also the first squad that they would kill. Half a day later, somewhere in the woods of the newcomers' neighborhood, a group of stowaways cheered and asked, where only these people come from. The guys asked, wondering how weak the guys on the second team were that they were blown away so quickly. It was about time they were replaced. It was the first stowaway squad, level 5. The captain of the first squad told them to stop relaxing, but the superiors said it was a serious matter, so let them behave accordingly. The guy said that the newbies were limited to level 5 anyway, so it wouldn't be too hard for them to straighten them out. The guys were watching them and Zhu asked Kaya if he was sure he could fight 9 level 5 stowaways. Kai replied not to worry, even if he could kill them, protecting them would definitely work. Besides, if they didn't try to kill them, they would ruin the other newcomers. Kai immediately ran towards them and said that's why you have to strike first. The captain sensed this and told his men that someone was approaching them. The guys opened the system and said it was just a level for rookie. The guy asked, level 4? And he leveled up pretty quickly. He must have been the one who defeated the second squad. Captain says it's not bad. Let's go. Everyone stay on alert. Don't let them lose to him. Kai ran backwards in the moment and realized things were bad. It turns out they are also maintaining the formation. According to their original plan, he was to lure the enemy and then slowly get rid of them one by one. We had to catch the stowaways one by one, but this squad is too big, so it won't be easy for them. Now the main thing is to save themselves, and if possible, to kill a few stowaways. Kai realized that the problem wasn't that they didn't have countermeasures. If he wanted to get rid of them all at once, it would take a lot of effort. And then the warrior stopped and asked, what is he doing? They were even more frightened, for they saw the boy coming toward them. The enemy met the guy one-on-one and laughingly asked him where he was going. Is he so scared that he can't decide which way to run away? The guy used his good offense and yelled for the rookie to get what he deserved. Kai felt a momentary pain on his shoulder, for the creep's blade had drawn blood. He realized he wasn't close enough. The guy asked the new guy, is he still running away? The guys met him and yelled that they would skin him. But for Kaya's plan, it still wasn't close enough. Kai got right into the center of the battle and started fighting them. The captain watched from the side and asked, what's the matter? The guys said they were level 5, but the guy was only level 4. How on earth could he withstand their attacks? They opened their system and the guy said there was something wrong and informed his captain. They had too little time to characterize it. But once he analyzed it with his high-tech watch, he found that all of his attributes were beyond their ability to discern, but at least agility was about 30 points. The captain was surprised very much and asked that the dexterity points were 30? The guy told the scout that he must be wrong. At his 5th level he has less than 20 points. How does he have that many? How do they even beat him then? The captain thought and realized that there was no such thing. The bowls couldn't be wrong. If this guy really has such high agility, in that case, who else is chasing who? The captain says things are bad. They are under attack and now they have to run away. The boys were surprised and asked the captain, "What?" Kai smiled and said that they finally realized and he had fooled them pretty easily, but it was too late for them to run. Zhu let his strongest attack go and saw that he hit right on target. Kai said that the guy had done a good job, now let him do the rest. Kai went through them like a beast and left a pile of corpses behind. He looked back and said it was done. Zhu was surprised and said that he had destroyed 9 level 5 representatives. What was wrong with Kai? The system said Traveler Kai for killing level 5 stowaways, he gets 200 experience units. Kai said he's finally at level 5. For every traveler killed above level 1, the amount of experience he gets doubles. So he got 400 units from each level 5 traveler. Sue asked Kai, had he reached level 5? She had heard that this was the limit that could be reached in the beginner zone. Sue asked the guy, had he reached his limit? Kai replied that it was nothing, it was just a lot of experience drained from them, and he still has survivors left, so we need to hurry. Sue replied that she understood. Ju asked the guy, what are they going to do next? Kai replied that he used to need to kill monsters to get experience points. Now that was no longer necessary, so he would just help them. After they scored enough points, they would head to the finish line. Ju showed his muscles and replied that it was his turn to become strong. Kai told them to be careful, on their way to the finish line they need to score as many points as possible. But the closer they get to the finish line, the more ferocious the monsters become. Even in the beginner zone there are bosses, you need to be careful. And then on their way out of the forest, they heard someone snapping at them. Ju trembled and was frightened at the same moment. The guys decided to check out what was there. Going deep into the forest, Sue said it was the corpse of a beast. Ju replied that it had a lot of bites on it. Did someone bite it to death? Kai decided that he was using his talent of focusing the ghost's eye. He realized that he had only just seen a golden light in the distance. Don't the guys think that this golden creature could have killed the monster? Sue asked in surprise, a golden creature? But going forward they saw that someone was attacking them from behind. Zhu and Sue were scared. The guy asked, what kind of creature is that? Could that thing be attacking them too? The rays of this attack began to fly out to the right and left. Sue was under fire and screamed, what is this? Zhu didn't dodge either and came under attack. He said that the golden light was a golden essence. That thing was chasing them. But part of the attack went to Kai as well, while he stood still and waited. He was greatly surprised, for he didn't realize what it was. Ju shouted to his friend to dodge. This thing is very dangerous, let him be on guard at all times. Kai reached out his hand, and grabbed the creature with his bare hands. The boys were very much surprised how he could do that. Kai stared intently at this little animal. And saw that it was a mouse that was giving them trouble. Ju was surprised and said that Kai caught him so quickly. Sue also said that he was already holding her in his arms. Kai asked, what do they think this thing is fast? Isn't it just a simple mouse? The mouse started squeaking and asking about who he was. After all, he would be sorry. Kai sighed and said that it looked like the mouse was too cocky, then he decided that he would let him go. And then in a moment he opened his hand. The mouse was very angry, and the moment he fell, he started attacking the guy. But Kai stood still the whole time. Ju was scared and asked his friend why he let him go. He was even able to kill a monster. Kai replied that it was okay, he was too slow for him. The guy in the moment started to mock him and throw him left and right. Ju asked surprised, Kai is that fast? Sue blushed at that and was very much proud of him. After a few minutes, Mouse raised his flag and showed that he had lost. After all, Kai had completely chickened him out. Kai said it looks like the mouse has nowhere to run. Ju asked the guy what kind of speed he had. Kai replied that he didn't know if the mouse would come in handy during battles, but a free helper wouldn't be out of place. Kai told Sue that she had almost reached level 4, let her find the corpses faster and then take the rest of the experience from them to reach level 5 at the end of the challenge. Sue smiled and replied that she would do it now, but the mouse is so cute too. Sue cried and said that it felt like he was some kind of scum and not a martial artist. At this time, the stranger was overjoyed after arriving in the forest. He said that after so many days, he had finally managed to reach the rookie zone Shunyao City. He slowly walked up the steps and then the guards came out in front of him and congratulated him on passing the test, the newcomers. The accompanying newcomer Xiao Dao said that he could now officially become a Devil Star Traveler. Xiao told the guy that unfortunately, he didn't come in first. But the ranking is not that important, the passing itself is what's important. The guy started clapping the captain on the shoulder and saying that yes, he didn't come first, but what made him think he was aiming to come running? The warriors asked him surprised, what? Ranking is calculated by points, he has a lot of monsters killed, but can he exchange them for points? Xiao asked, how was the newbie able to kill so many monsters? The guy started laughing and replied that it was nothing. After all, he is the second lord of the Huang family, the future head of the Huang Wei Guild. He received special training before he came here. The warriors asked, is it the Huang family that is a member of the Xuanwu Guild? Xiao said that the Xuanwu Guild comes out in the top 10 of Shunyao City. Well, I'm not surprised that he's so capable. Xiao said congratulations, although he is not the very first in points, in terms of might, he will definitely enter the top 10 of Shunyao City. Huang Wei started laughing loudly and said that he would definitely become great. Winning the first place is only the first step. Huang Wei opened his arms and said that if they gave him a little more time, the entire Devil Star would fall at his feet. Somewhere in the depths of the newbie zone, Kai said that everything was strange, half a day had already passed, but not a single monster had been encountered. Kai asked that it wasn't the mouse scaring them away, right? Su smiled and replied that it was impossible, because he was so cute. When they heard another roar, their legs trembled. Kai was surprised and said that they were dusky wolves. The dusky wolf that had claws glowing with blue flames was the boss of Shunyao City's rookie zone, the king of the dusky wolves. Kai took an attack stance and said that it was the boss of the rookie zone, the king of the dusky wolves. They had gotten into the boss territory. Kai said they were already surrounded. Zhu told the guy that he heard that they were the most powerful creature in the rookie zone that no one had managed to kill yet. What are they going to do? Kai gripped his weapon tightly and thought, what about them? There were too many wolves, he could run away, but they couldn't. In that case, he will fight to the death. Kai told the boys that they can't escape. The only thing left to do is to break through. The wolves started telling their king to attack them already. And Kai decided to take on the king of the wolves. Zhu immediately applied his fire techniques and told them to see his might in this battle. Kai said it was a wonderful skill. Let Su take advantage of his technique. Su immediately attacked. Kai immediately applied an attack and used the focus of the ghost's eye. Combining with the card in the ghost's hand, Kai did a great job and attacked the king. But the Wolf King managed to repel this attack with ease. The Wolf King got even more angry and glared at the boys. Kai was surprised and said that the defense could not be broken through. The wolves didn't stand still for long and charged straight at the boys. Su shouted that the Wolf King had ordered his companions to attack them. Zhu caught the wolf by the mouth and was telling Tsayu that he couldn't attack the Wolf King. We need to think of something else. Kai thought and realized that the king's defenses were too strong. They surrounded him all together. At this time, the rat was lying on Kai and screaming in his sleep for them to run away. But in a moment he heard a growl. Mouse turned around and said they were criminals. Kai used his power in the moment and turned on the electric field. The mouse had grown 3 times its size in the meantime, and gaining energy said it was using its power to the max. Mouse, like a hopped-up little mouse, began to unleash her powers and went between the wolves like lightning. She aimed straight at the wolf and hit it right on target. The wolf screamed in pain a moment later. Kai was surprised by this and saw that the mouse was able to bite the Wolf King. He decided, using the focus of the ghost's eye. Kai looked and saw that the mouse had managed to injure the wolf. That's great. Thanks to the mouse, his defense has been breached, and all that's left is a little more pressure on the wound, and then the Wolf King will lose. Kai immediately sent an arrow of energy into the wolf. The wolf was unable to fend off this attack and Kai went straight into his wound. He was in a lot of pain and growled at the moment. Kai saw that he almost killed him, and if he could use his focus to strike. So he decided to attack him with a 200 charge. Su was completely blinded and asked if it was Kai's strike. Ju asked if he had killed the king of the dusky wolves. Kai looked around and was somehow surprised. The system immediately congratulated him for defeating the boss of the Wolf Rookie Zone. Kai at this moment thought that their battle would last for a very long time, coming out, managing to slay him with a 200th critical strike, and besides, this is the first time he's been able to recreate a critical hit of that power. Su turned to Kai and told him to look, it looks like the wolves are leaving. Kai asked Su, can they still fight? The guys immediately replied that they could. Kai said that's great. Since the king is gone, the remaining wolves are just pathetic bugs. Ju hesitated and said they barely survived. Kai told the guys not to let them go alive. The guys started fighting the remaining wolves and using fire to destroy them all, leaving none left. Kai started to consider and with a sigh said they were done. Ju said he didn't expect to be able to take down the Rookie Zone boss. Kai said for them to get ready to earn points. Liu thought for a moment and asked, what's next? Kai replied that they now had a lot of points in reserve, so they could already be on their way to the finish line. A few hours later, the guys reached the finish line and Zhu asked, what comes out is the territory of Shenyao City on the Devil Star. Su replied that it is very lively. Of course, Shenyao City is the largest vacation base on the entire Devil Star. Just then, Su turned around and told Kai that the mouse was running away. Kai replied that it was fine, he was completely free. If fate brought them together again, he wouldn't mind. There they reached the reception hall after the test in the rookie area. Xie saw the boys and said that he congratulated them on passing the test. Kai asked the captain if he could see the rating. Xie replied that it could be done, but suddenly they heard loud laughter, and Wei was saying that it was a coincidence. Who would have thought that his employee would also take part in the test? And he could show him the ranking. Ci looked at him menacingly and thought that he didn't expect to see Huang Wei here. Wei started laughing and said that he was the first. But they took the first places too. Really from the end, the others were telling everyone to look at this scum. How could they have the conscience to come? They're all trash. Kai understood, in order to save up for his trip to the Devil Star, his sister worked at Huang Wei's house. That bastard used to harass her a lot. Besides, he beat him up a lot too. Zhu immediately got angry and told Huan that he was going to wash his mouth out with soap. Kai stopped him and said it was okay. Kai apologized and said that he wanted to let them know that the rankings will be changed soon. Because the three of them will be the leaders. Huan started laughing and asked, what's with the nerve? They are already the first from the end, what more do they need? Kai looked at his own and told them not to react to them. Zhu looked at his watch and said that things will change soon. Then it's time for things to change. After revealing their kills to everyone, the guys were surprised and couldn't believe their eyes. How did they do it? Huan asked, how many monsters had they killed? Not just simple monsters, but dusky wolves as well? Huan looked at everything carefully and said it couldn't be. He's also the king of the dusky wolves. Huan said funny. But how did they even deal with the king of the dusky wolves? Is that even possible? Kai smiled and replied that if he wants to let him, he believes, but if he doesn't, he doesn't. The rating is the indicator of everything. The guys were immediately clamoring to watch it sooner rather than later. The ratings have been updated. Huan opened and was very surprised and asked how so? They really made it to the top 3. Kai sighed and asked, what do they think this is all about? Sir, there's more for stowaways here. Can we convert everything to points? Xie was surprised when he saw it and asked, is this the watch of the stowaways of L country? Huang didn't believe it and asked, stowaways? He started laughing and said they were lying. How could rookies kill stowaways? Where did the stowaways even come from? Did anyone see them, people? And then everyone started answering that they had never seen them. Huan turned to the master and told him to look. Everyone says they haven't seen any stowaways. He advises that their points should be cancelled and they should be tested to the fullest extent. Xie turned around and heard what the guys were saying to get them sorted out and taken more seriously. Let them punish them, but then someone came up and told everyone to calm down. Stowaways did show up, they just didn't have time to report it. Deputy Liu said he was surprised to hear about them too. So proposes to reward Cai and his comrades for their dedication. The guys didn't believe it and asked that it was Liu Jun, the deputy commander-in-chief. So they really killed the stowaways? Huang asked, so is it true? Liu approached Kai and said that in order to reward him in some way, it had been decided to increase his equipment reward. And also the original award for second and third place has been upgraded from B to A. And as for first place, the award has been raised to S. Ju couldn't believe it and asked back, was it true? The other guys cheered and were very much satisfied. The others, upon hearing that the award had been upgraded from A to S, were very much surprised and asked what such equipment even existed. Kai said that the Devil Star gear is currently divided into categories from F to S, where F is the lowest quality gear and S is the best, respectively. As a rule, B and C gear is considered to be pretty good. Rarer are the A and S ranked gear, which is what every traveler dreams of. Huang was angry and realized that not only had Kai displaced him from the leader's spot, but he had also obtained S-rank equipment. Huang started yelling that it wasn't fair. There's definitely something wrong here. Kai's family is lower class, how can he compete with him? Kai asks him, is that possible in this situation? He warns him not to dare insult his family. Huang started attacking and asked what Kai wanted to say that he was wrong. They are beggars, aren't they? His brother's sick and his sister's a janitor. He's been crawling in his feet. But today he decided to change everything. Kai knows that his sister still works in his house. So don't let her make him angry, or one day he would get his hands on her. Kai lost his temper and dared such a thing. He immediately used his power and attacked Huan. Huan stopped in a moment and thought, what was that just now? Lu was surprised and saw that he had struck Huan down. One of the guys was saying that Huang came from the Huang family, and she was one of the top 10 guilds in the country. How did Caillou have the courage to do such a thing? Huan asked Cai that he dared to attack him. Does he know what will happen to him now? Kai replied that he was the first to insult his family. He doesn't think they realize who he is. Kai said that family is the most important thing in his life. It doesn't matter who insults his family, anyway. And then Huan told him to stop. Kai finished his words that he would kill everyone and sent his spear straight into his chest. And then the system said that Kai kills a level 1 traveler, thus earning 6 experience points. Does he want to take them back? Kai sighed and said, what comes out? Only 6 experience points. Is his family really that poor? People asked, how dare he kill the Huang family's heir? Even though he was still alive in reality, the Huang family's anger was not going anywhere. Lu saw that this guy never lost his cool, an astounding man. Lu tells everyone that Kai killed Huan in self-defense, so offers to close the issue. Lu told the guys that the 3 of them should follow him, taking them to the awards. Kai immediately thanked him. Lu took them instead and told them that now they could see their gear, let them open up faster. Su went to her box and it immediately opened. When she saw it, she said, this is the Jade of Life. The equipment that every healer dreams of having at first. Lu said, that's right. Jade of Life adds 15 points to build and spirit, which has a very positive effect on the healing process. Ju, seeing his reward, said for everyone to see. He has armor. It's really pretty. Lu replied that the Black Rhino skin armor increases defense by 16 points and the damage received is reduced by 16%. The equipment is great for both attack and defense. Ju rejoiced at these moments and said that it was the best thing for him. Su was also excited and told Kai to watch it too, and then Kai opened up and the system said he had unrecognized gear. We need to check it out. Lu thought for a moment and said, I guess the outfit requires a special ID. Ju asked, even so? Apparently, it's really cool. Lu replied, that's correct. Very good gear usually requires an ID. He has one, so he can help. Lu helped him and the system said it was 9 pursuit blades. S-rank equipment raises. Lu was surprised and asked what was responsible for the critical damage. The attack power of a mere beginner is usually not high, so the critical damage of S-rank doesn't seem to be as good as that of a rank equipment. Ju turned to Mr. and said that apparently he was unlucky. Su asked Mr. Lu if Kai could change his gear. Lu sighed and replied that it was very troublesome, but he could try to do something. And then Kai replied that he didn't have to. There's no need to change anything. Everything fits him. And at that moment the guys didn't understand him and couldn't believe that he had left the gear behind. Kai thought about it and said that it was a good equipment, it couldn't be better. Now his damage would be not 2, but 200 times more powerful. After such a critical strike, even a Shadow Wolf King would fall in a single blow. Too bad of course that his normal critical strike isn't particularly high, so it won't be easy, but each use of the 9 pursuit blades will increase your speed by at least 10%, but after a few hits, the speed and power of the critical strike will be increased by 90%. The perfect item for the gambler. Lu sighed and said that it was okay, since he liked it. And now they could go back to Earth. Lu turned to Caius and said he wanted to warn him, someone might be looking for him, and he better be careful, so he will walk him home. And so Kai found himself in a poor neighborhood in Jiangzhuang City. Kai was heading home on his bike and thought he didn't expect the ordeal to go so smoothly. I wonder what his brother and the others will say, and then Kai stopped and thought, why are there such expensive cars here? Is someone going to develop the neighborhood? Kai burst into the house at the same minute and shouted to his brother and sister that he was back. Let them guess who passed the pledge challenge. Kai immediately used his eye and saw that he had company and possibly some very bad guys. These are the people Lu warned him about. Huang Da asked, and who is it that came back? They say the kid passed the rookie trial? Cai was surprised and asked, is this Huang Wei's brother? What do they want with him? But then 2 guys grabbed him from behind and told him to drop to his knees. Yes, told Kai that his little brother has to undergo psychiatric treatment after he killed him in the Devil Star. No one has ever dared to do that to the Huang family. And he dishonored Huang Wei in this game. And he will do the same to him. Da didn't play with it and decided to hit it with the bat. But in a moment Kai saw it coming towards his face, but suddenly someone broke down the door and scattered the others. He got angry and asked who it was. And then the boys came in and told Kai that they had told him to be more careful when he went home. King Wei asked him why he had let the warning pass his ears and disobeyed. Lan said not to move. The military is already here. And immediately showed them the document. Da was surprised and said that it was the commander-in-chief of the Weiying City Military District. Why is he here? Wei replied that they had come for Kai. They shouldn't have touched him. Da asked that the commander-in-chief had come for Kai? How so? Who the hell is he? Kai heard everything and couldn't believe that such a powerful man had sewn up for him. After that, evil Da was grabbed by the police for the offense of violating a person. The police led him to the car and told him to put his head down. Kai thanked Commander Wei for his help. But why had he decided to come to him? Wei replied so he wouldn't be nervous. They didn't come for nothing. In the rookie test, he and Zhu and Su had performed well. Did he know that after he left, they were invited to join the military? They came to invite him too. As a representative of a new profession, Lan asked Kai if he knew what the emergence of a new profession meant. There are currently many professions for travelers, but they can be changed once a person reaches level 20. Whenever the profession changes, attributes and skills also change. Some travelers become stronger while others become weaker. The current professions are not so necessary, so the military prefers to change them, mastering new ones. Lan told Sayu that his profession was considered a new one. Would he be willing to join them? Don't let him worry, they are not going to rush things. Let him forgive them, but before they arrived, they studied information about him and his family. According to them, his brother is seriously ill. If he agrees to join them, they will be sure to protect his family and cover all of his brother's medical expenses. Wei asked, well? He already went to the Devil Star to cover the expenses, didn't he? If he agrees, tomorrow the day after tomorrow, let him come to them. Lan also said that he could come to him. And then Kai apologized and replied that he refused. They were both surprised and Lan asked him why. Kai replied that he knew that everyone dreamed of joining them, especially those with the profession of warrior and healer who can help them. But he's different. His profession is different too. Do they remember when the drinking profession came into being? The military was all into it, trying to get people like that to join, right? The military helped the drunks in everything, because of which alcohol began to be freely available and distributed. And when the military found that drinking was not having the expected effect, the drunks were simply abandoned. Isn't he right? As for him, this time the Huang family was caught off guard. He didn't think they would strike so soon. They will leave the Huang family's land as soon as possible, and many thanks to them for their help. Besides, the three of them have lived together for more than 10 years. So long ago we got used to taking fate into our own hands rather than shifting responsibility to others. Lan said that humanity is now experiencing the end of the world. His profession can help the world a lot. Humanity needs him more than ever. Why would he even have such bad thoughts about them? Kai thought and apologized and replied that he just wanted to protect his family, that's all. Lan got angry and wanted to say something to him. But then Wei told her to stay out of it. He understood what the guy wanted to say. Habits developed over 10 years are hard to change in a couple of days. But Kai realizes that his brother doesn't have much time, and in the future, he won't be able to fight alone. And why not make a bet? For the next month, the military will continue to defend his homeland from the Huan family. But if Khan can save up for his brother's surgery this month, that they accept his autonomy. They won't interfere anymore, and if he can save up, the military will cover all medical expenses, but he'll have to join them. Kai thought for a moment and smiled as he replied that he agreed to Commander Wei's terms. Kai realized that he needed to return to the Devil Star as soon as possible to save up for treatment. On leaving, Kai wrote a letter saying that he had passed the test but had to return to the Devil Star again. As long as the family is threatened by the Huang clan, he can't leave them in a place like this. They need to move to a more prosperous neighborhood. And now he'll have to work very hard to earn the full amount he needs. Coming to the Devil Star of the City of Gods, Kai thought he could now officially begin his journey. Now that I've changed clothes, I can go to work. But first, you have to join the guild. Since the monsters on Devil Star are very strong, it doesn't make sense to fight alone, so all newcomers should join the guild. Guild is a large organization of travelers. This is where you can create a team to fight monsters side by side and level up. Kai thought he would see where he could join. As he entered the team, he said hello and said he wanted to join the guild. The admin apologized and asked the guy, "Is Kai right?" "He is currently banned from joining the guild." Kai asked, "Why would that be?" The admin immediately showed her hand with a smile and replied that the Huang family had blacklisted him, and that's why he can only fight alone. Meanwhile, at the edge of the safe zone, the selection process was underway. Kai arrived there and thought that no guild would accept him now. Would his adventure end before it had even begun? And then someone asked him behind his back if he had decided where he was going. The girl smiled and said she was a fortune teller, and she can help you decide on an area. The cost per fortune telling is 100 coins. That was the fortune teller on level 29. Just then Kai apologized and replied that he didn't believe. The fortune teller immediately shouted for him to stop, and don't let him go. The task will cost 80 coins for him. Oh, 30 coins. Or it will be free. Let him count for the reward. And then Kai stopped and said, if free is good enough for him. Now he's not so adamant, the fortune teller thought, because she already realized that she was not going anywhere, and decided that she would try to do it. The fortune teller began her techniques and said that he was now in crisis. And offers to go to the Valley of the Ruler. Kai immediately realized that it was dangerous. But in the safe zone, no one could harm his physical body, so he was safe in it. In the Plane of Ashes currently, newbies usually earn experience in the Plane of Ashes. Players of levels 1 to 10 congregate here, but there is a small chance that the Huang family will send someone here to kill him. On the mountain pass usually go travelers from level 15, if we'll go there now he will die. And as for the Ruler's Valley, it's made for level 10 travelers. With his current strength, they can hardly stand up to the monsters that dwell in those places. He thinks that the Huang family won't even think of him going there. The Ruler Valley will be his starting point. Kai said that since he wasn't allowed to join the guild, then he would work on his own. The fortune teller thought and saw that he went there alone. I mean, she was talking about the team. Does he even know what that place is? He's going to die there. The fortune teller packed her bag and thought she didn't care, and it was none of his business. We need to get out of here before the negative feedback arrives. At this time, Kai had reached the Ruler's Valley. I wonder how strong the monsters here are. And then Kai heard a roar and turned around and realized that something was wrong. And in a moment he saw that there were gorillas. The other team fought them. The head of the team was surprised and shouted to his own to hold on. The guy looked at the stats and said it was a level 11 giant monkey. If they tried hard enough, they could defeat him. He ordered his own to put in more effort. The team immediately used all their strength and attacked as one. Kai looked around and wondered if this was a team battle of travelers. It's pretty lively, and the monsters in the valley look strong. He doesn't know if he can handle them himself, but Kai immediately in the moment saw someone blocking his light. He turned around and saw the gorillas. Kai assumed a posture of defense and asked them what they had come for. He had only thought of them, after all. There is no such thing as coincidence. And then the system popped up and said that team of celestial swordsmen is killing a level 11 giant ape. And then the guy turned to the captain and said that being at level 10, they were able to defeat a level 11 giant ape without loss. They could even break records. The captain replied that of course, because they had a very cool captain. But then they turned around and saw a herd of gorillas coming towards them. Kai tried to escape and realized that he had wandered into their territory by mistake. The boy told the captain that he was the only one fighting against 3 men at once, and every one of them is above their level. We have to help him. The captain said he's an idiot. He must have attracted them himself, and they can't help him. Or they'll risk dying themselves. We've got to get out of here. And then after a couple minutes the system came out and said that the level 12 giant monkey was killed. Kai alone fought them and thought everything was going super. The critical strike speed was increased, and the supercrit ability was also increased. The captain looked and said that they all fought together to kill a level 11 monkey, and he killed a level 12 monkey in a matter of seconds. Kai started to lure them towards him and decided to keep walking. At this point, the monkeys decided to attack him, but Kai was much smarter than them and dodged the attack, inflicted his own and killed the level 13 giant ape. Kai rejoiced and said that this time the critical strike speed had increased by another 10%. It couldn't be better. The boys watched the whole thing over the battle and saw that the boy had killed another one. Kai lured him on again and said he was about to kill another one. The captain said this level 14 giant ape is the strongest one here. He doesn't believe the kid can kill it, too. Kai analyzed his body and said that his physical strength was almost running out. There was no way to run anytime soon. Kai thought of it and decided that he would have to speed up and deal with him before he was caught. So he decided to kill him first. Kai fired 9 of his knives straight at him and saw the red light begin to thicken and the monkey got hit. Kai got excited and said that the critical hit was just in time. And then the system popped up and said that the level 14 monkey was killed. The captain was totally surprised and said the guy killed all 3 of them. Even their 12-man team couldn't handle it, and he took them all out by himself. Who the hell is he? Kai picked up his knives and said that he didn't think he would have to sweat so much. But now that he had gotten his hands on 3 monster cards, it didn't seem so hard. Kai didn't bother to meet the others and ran away. The captain shouted that the great man was leaving. What should they do? The captain asked why no one had detained him. What a pity! The guys at that moment wondered what was going on with the captain at all. At this time there was a showdown going on in the Ash Plains area. The guy said his eyesight was good. And there's 3 warriors, 1 soldier, and 1 healer. This is the famous Falcon team from the Huang Guild. Why did they come to the Rookie area? It's too easy a location for them. The healer said they searched the whole plain, but never found Kai. The warrior said that the fortune teller had seen Kai, let him tell them where he was going. The fortune teller asked why they wanted him. The healer asked the fortune teller, didn't she know him? The warrior replied that CI had provoked the Huang family, so he should be punished. The fortune teller asked, really? Kai is in the ruler's valley and they can find him there. The warrior threw her out and replied that if she lied they would find her and finish her off. The girl said that this is the strongest level 20 hunter team. She thinks Kai can't stand up to them. The fortune teller asked if you were strong. Course people fortune tellers will never tell the truth. She made a hexagram that showed that if they went to Kai, they would die. After a day in the ruler's valley, Kai opened the system and said it was great. Killed 16 monkeys and broke through to level 6. Kai remembered that they said the corpse of a giant ape could be sold for a very decent amount of money, and if he can earn money, he will pay all his brother's expenses. And then someone turned to him and asked him if he wanted to join them. The guy said they have 3 teams of people here who hunt giant monkeys in groups. If he joins, he has access to elite treasure chests. So, how does he like that offer? Kai asked surprised, a team? But he doesn't have a team of his own, does he? Would he be alone? The guy replied that it was fine, just let him help them. Guy said can they see what's in there? He said that there are 4 elite giant monkeys living there, and the cave next to them holds a treasure chest, but there were 4 of them, and the level was high, so they wouldn't be able to do it without his help. Kai knew right away that he was baiting them. The guy told Kai that he only needed to get one of them away and they would deal with the other three. He'll get access to the chest for his help. Kai immediately introduced his elite treasure chests in a second. It is said that an elite treasure chest holds many good items that can be sold for a decent amount of money. We have to get them. But they're not worried about his safety, asking him to go alone. They're probably hoping he doesn't come back alive. So Kai decided it was time to show them true skill. Kai told the boy that he agreed. The guy immediately raised his sword and said, "Great, it's time for action now. First team, go." The monkeys immediately smelled the humans, that it was time for them to get up and fight them and keep their treasures. The guy asked Kai what is he doing? Kai immediately used his attack and said that he would do anything now. Kai overdid his attack and realized that the monkey was attacking him and would soon catch him. The guy saw that all is well and Kai is doing great. And pretty soon they will be getting the chest. Time for them to get in on the action too. The battle was heating up and Kai could see that he had barely timed his attack. And he thinks that elite giant monkeys are much stronger than ordinary ones. He should be more careful. Kai immediately stopped after thinking hard and releasing his knife said that he was far from simple either. The monkey pounced on him and Kai managed to release his attack. Immediately, the system said that the level 15 monkey was killed. Kai thought it was a beauty when he saw it and never thought that he had defeated her in just one critical hit. Kai thought about it and decided that for the sake of the chest, he could work a little harder. He told his men to work harder. After all, they still had rewards to share. Kai saw the boys fighting and decided to go into the cave and look at the treasure. And immediately he saw that something in the depths was glittering. Kai saw them and said it was so easy to get to him. And the chest is right there. It looks like there's a large sum of money waiting for him. Kai began to evaluate them and said that it was beautiful. He was clearly worth taking such a risk with killing a level 15 monkey, and in that moment everything changed. Kai heard the roar and drool of the beast that was slowly falling on his shoulders. The guy turned around and saw that it was a monkey. But not just any monkey, but a level 20 elite monkey. It's not like they didn't report it. The system evaluated him and warned the guy that he was very dangerous. Kai asked him, was he hiding here on purpose? He immediately produced a couple of knives and realized he had to fight. But they did nothing to the monkey. Kai was surprised and said that the stab in the eye had no effect. He opened the system and saw that he could only remove 9 points of defense, but he had as many as 23, so we have to take the protection off first before we can get on with the rest of our lives. It's just like the Wolf Lord. The monkey got even more angry and started to act up. Kai could see that he was very angry and how painful it would get. He doesn't have enough attributes. And it's not like he's going to die. Kai realized that dying on the Devil Star would not go in vain. He would have to wait a whole month to go here again. If that's true, he shouldn't have come here. So he should join the army to help his brother and sister. What a hard time he's having right now. And in the moment memories came to him and someone was yelling at him to wake up. The kid was yelling at him to stay awake and let him try to stay awake. He shouted to his little brother that he would surely get him out of the battlefield. It happened 10 years ago, on the battlefield of gods and beasts. And then Kai came to his senses and realized how he could fall asleep. The monkey immediately started sending the boy into his stomach. Kai remembered that his older brother had pulled him and his sister out of the battlefield. Kai saw his blade and thought, could he die here? The monkey immediately sent it into his stomach. He was very happy that he had eaten. But then it wasn't so easy either. In a moment his eyes started to glaze over and completely exploded into little pieces. The monkey fell to the ground and the system immediately said that an elite level 20 giant monkey had been killed. Kai was happy that he had succeeded, and even though the monkey's external defenses are top-notch, the insides and mouth are very weak. If you attack from the inside, it can't protect her. Just like with the Shadow Wolf Lord. And now he's reached the elite treasure chest. And now it's his. Half an hour later, the teams were shouting for joy that they had won. The guys were shouting their thanks to the guy who took one away. He must be dead by now. The commander said if he died, they'd get more rewards. All in all, not too bad. The team went to the cave and followed the chests that were waiting for them. And soon they would be rich, but they had no idea it would be like this. They started to look around and saw nothing. The commander got angry and asked, "What's the matter? Where's their chest?" "The elite chest isn't here." And then the guy replied to the boss that it seems that during the battle that kid went into the cave. The captain was surprised and asked why he hadn't told before. The boy replied that he thought he had imagined it. Could he have survived? The boy told the captain that they had fought for nothing. A few days of slaving away, and even if the chest isn't here, they should still get some kind of reward. And then the guy told the captain that he owed him for months, and then the captain got angry and said that they had been tricked by some little boy. How could it be? At this time in the ruler's valley on the other side, Kai was saying that he wouldn't have gotten the chest without them. Kai opened the system and decided to see what was new. He wondered what he had gotten. Kai opened the box and was happy to see what was inside. There was so much ore, and equipment too. Cai took out a gear and said that the value of the Devil Star was quite high. Now he was rich. And then Kai saw that the box wasn't empty yet and thought it was another piece of equipment. Kai examined them fully and realized they were gloves, but also how could they help him? In a moment, the guy felt a lot lighter. And maybe the equipment increases agility and strength, he thought. Kai decided that he would try an attack, and in a moment of waving his arm he let loose a few knives. The guy saw flames appear on the spikes, comes out, adds flames to any kind of weapon. There are many types of flames on the Devil Star that deal different damage. The damage of simple flames is extremely low, hardly to be used for attacking, rather for cooking. Kai wondered if it was just a simple flame. Did they want to roast? He wondered if they would only need them for barbecuing. A guy checking his findings heard someone looming in the woods. He immediately realized that these sounds were familiar to him. The system immediately jumped up and warned that these were level 18 elite monkeys. The guy immediately realized that there were 4 elite monsters here at once. Kai wondered if it was because of the gloves attack. Literally, he had just barely dealt with 1 monkey, and now he was dealing with 4. The guy didn't take any chances and immediately let in the monkey's attacks. Kai thought he should only focus on attacking 1 at a time. The system has notified that the defenses cannot be breached. The damage inflicted is 0% wounded. Kai realized immediately that this was bad news. The guy immediately realized that the monkeys come out to know that you have to protect your mouth. Even if they run with their mouths open, you can't kill them that easily. The lives of the monkeys were 10 horsepower. And Kai wondered if he was going to die today after all. But he saw that the flame was working, but it was different. The fire slowly engulfed their bodies and gradually burned to the last drop, killing them. Kai looked around and saw that the fire had gotten so strong. But the monkeys were frightened and in a moment stopped. The guy was greatly surprised and he wondered why the monkeys were suddenly dead. The system said that the elite giant ape was dead. And then Kai said that the flame damage was 20 after all. How did it increase to 2000? Kai was greatly surprised and couldn't believe that it was 200 times bigger. So the glove flames were not so simple. Not only does it increase the damage 200 times, it also increases the critical strike power. In addition, it also does team damage. It turns out, the flames don't touch the monster's defenses, killing it from the inside. It will be able to get up to 2000 points per second. Kai was using the fire transformation technique. He was very happy that the equipment was great and the damage wasn't bad, and now there's no reason to worry. We'll always be able to break through the defenses. Thus, that night, all the monkey giants of the ruler's valley became the victims of a true genocide. They had never seen a common man kill them with a common flame. They had seen nothing but blood, and it felt like there was a demon in the valley. Kai laughed and said that within a 10-mile radius, everything was cleaned up. The next day, in the ruler's valley, Kai looked at the battlefield and said that was great. Killed a dozen giant monkeys in one evening. He was able to level up too. The damage from the gauntlets is now much higher, and he thinks he'll be invincible at level 20. Kai looked at the system and said that he now had 10 elite treasure chests and giant ape corpse cards, would be able to sell everything for more money. Kai looked into the distance and realized that he even felt lonely somehow here, and missed the days when he fought side by side with Zhu and Su, and he wondered how he was doing with the military. He thinks he's doing much better than he's doing here. On the other side of the valley, ruler Zhu shouted, "What kind of place is this? Why is there no one here? Where have all the monkeys gone?" Zhu cried and said, why did he only come here? Not a single monkey had been seen for days, and then Su said how much Kai's promptness was missed. And then someone yelled out to them and told them to stop talking. Player Li Biao said that previously, it was easier for them to fight monsters because they were in the rookie zone. Now everything had changed, and if Kai had brought them here, still nothing would have changed. He brought them to the Ruler's Valley on purpose to make them more independent. Let them stop whining. Li ordered that they should already come to their senses and amicably continue the search for the giant monkeys. And then Su realized that she still missed Kai. 3 days later, the Huang clan warriors laughed and said, who would have thought that after spending so much time in the Ruler's Valley, they had only come across ordinary giant apes, especially since there was no problem with them, they were too weak. The other guy replied that he didn't think killing Kai would go much easier. The guy said that killing a man and a beast are completely different things. But in the moment, they felt something near them. The blonde said that a few days ago they had seen one deity single-handedly kill 3 monkeys. The creep was surprised and asked that he killed 3 people by himself. Must be cool for low-level players, right? The loon asked the others if they had seen this man. The blonde replied that it just so happened to be the same deity who had single-handedly killed several monkeys at once. The guy in red said they must be wrong. Let them take a closer look, it's only a level 5 rookie. The creep told them not to talk nonsense. The blonde replied that if they didn't believe it, let them check it out for themselves. They saw him coming out of the Ruler's Valley. The guy asked, what they wanted to say is that Kai is around somewhere. It's time to go and it's time to fulfill their mission. The guys on the other team said that it looked like they were going to find the deity. The other guy replied that the deity looked very strong, and he wouldn't be surprised if it was being hunted. At the same time, the crowded exit of the Valley Ruler team were saying whatever happened to those monkeys, and where did the rest of them go? The second guy answered that they didn't even have time to do anything, they were all killed, and at the same time, the cause of all their troubles, Kai, passed by them. He thought that in these 3 days he had killed several more monkeys, and even managed to level up to the 10th, and on top of that, got 19 elite treasure chests. He thinks it's time to go back to town and sell everything, but then someone yelled for him and told him to stop. Turning around, Gadnish said the guy had been sitting with his head hidden for too long. It took quite a while to find him. The warriors asked, isn't this the Huang family's 5th team of hunters? Why are they interested in this guy? Kai asked, the Huang family? From the guild? So they were sent by the Huang family? The creep asked, is it out of fear that he asked such obvious things? Kai had provoked the Huang family, so he would pay for it with his life. The enemies immediately surrounded him and waited for the moment to attack. Kai said that after all, he only beat Huan. Are they sure it's worth it? And then the guys replied that they didn't care which one was right. Does he know how much they were paid for it? Kai clenched his fist and replied, that's how it is. Since they were pricing everything in money, let them not blame him. He immediately put his knives into action. The enemies were completely surprised by his abilities and didn't expect him to be so strong. The creep replied that it was ridiculous. Does he think some pathetic flame is going to stop them? The girl asked if the young gentleman had definitely died at the hands of this scum. The guy was telling Caillou, what a trivial thing to say. His flames are too low level. And they think they're stronger. Kai asked with his eye, is it funny to them? And now they would see how they liked his current damage. It wouldn't bother them if the level from the flames got a little stronger, would it? One of the attackers saw that the fire was doing nothing against him. But suddenly it also took away 2,000 horsepower from him. He was completely covered in fire, and in a moment, flames erupted. Everyone was amazed at how this happened. The warriors immediately shouted to their captain. The captain did not understand what was going on and asked what was wrong, and why had the damage gotten so bad. But Flame didn't leave the others standing aside either, and approached their bodies, and then the guy started asking what was happening to them too. And in a second they were covered in Kaya flames, and then the system said that the Traveler Kai was killing a team of 5 and stealing the experience of the team members. The guys asked, what's going on? Kai smiled and replied that since they were in such a hurry to find him, he would take their attention. The warriors went into a frenzy and asked what the hell? He single-handedly took out an entire team? But that's a level 20 elite. The guy said that if he hadn't seen him kill people with his own eyes with ordinary flames, he wouldn't have believed it in his life. They asked, who was he? But Kai at this time slowly approached them and activated the experience accrual. Guys opened his stats and asked about not being able to see his stats. Can't see how so? Kai at this time said that he understood. Is it really a flame god relying on his equipment to kill everyone around him? The guys were surprised and asked, flame god? And in a moment they realized that Kai is definitely a flame god. Kai opened the system and said he was 2 more levels up. But why can't they see his characteristics? The system replied that it was all due to his profession as a handler. His level should have completely different characteristics, and since they were very different, it might shock others. Kai asked her, is it true? It's a good thing they can't see anything. They'll be less jealous of him. At this time in the Devil Star, Xingyao City, in the exchange store, Cai came and said that he would like to sell his equipment. On the counter the girl lay falling asleep slowly. She reciprocated and told him to show him. The girl was already thinking that no one ever came to their place. It's not a very nice place. Kai replied that there wasn't that much stuff, and asked her to count it. The girl stood up and said that she would now see what he had to offer them. And here she was greatly surprised, for the guy had all the gorillas. Kai said there are several giant ape corpses here. Kai said there are also 19 elite treasure chests here. Kai smiled and asked, can they see him? He wondered how much he could get for all of this. The girl couldn't come to her senses and thought, what is this, a professional hunter? Where did he get so much stuff? The girl laughed and told him not to worry. It just so happened that he was the head salesman in front of him. He would calculate everything today. The girl realized that by any means necessary to get this client to him. Kai immediately apologized for the inconvenience. The girl did the math and told the honored customer that the corpse cards could be sold for 10,000 and the chests for 170000, and he gets a total of 180,000. When Kai heard that, he asked, 180,000 Devil Star coins. Cai immediately thought at once, 1 Devil Star coin could be exchanged for 10 coins of Xingyao City. He had gotten 180,000 coins in total. All the medical expenses could be covered. Kai walked out of there and realized that he could consider that he had already fulfilled the bet. Not only would he not have to go to the army, but he would be able to pay the hospitalization expenses. And then the fortune teller found him and shouted at him to wait. After all, she had told him the last time. The fortune teller said she advised him to go to the Valley of the Ruler then, didn't she? She thinks he got himself into trouble there. Kai replied that the trip to the valley had helped him a lot and he was very grateful for her advice. The fortune teller asked if he could help her with her request. Kai thought about it and gave her permission to speak, and then the girl got excited and asked Kai to take her on his team. And offered to fight side by side. Kai turned around in a moment and said goodbye. The fortune teller got worried in a moment and asked where he was going. Is he really leaving, just like that? The fortune teller said that even the military rated her profession as the most useless, no other should have. She told Kaya to listen to her. He knows Kaya is interested in the gear. Would he want to take it away from her? He'll give it to her for free. It's the last time he'll want it on the Devil Star anyway. Kai asked, for the last time? And is she poor, too? Does she really want to shut down for good? Doesn't he want to try to make money? The fortune teller replied that everything was so, but it would not be possible to earn money anyway. After all, nobody needs such a profession. When the military decided that feng shui master was an important profession, she managed to reach level 20 and then retrained as a fortune teller. But the wizard's original abilities consisted of a more acute perception of place and time. And after acquiring the profession of fortune teller, she can only predict fortunes. And when the military realized that the fortune tellers had no combat skills, they decided to give up on them. Since they were weak, no one wanted them on the team, so they couldn't advance. No one takes her to fight monsters, even though she comes here every day. And if she returns to Earth, she can work at a construction site as a laborer. At least she'll get some money. Kai said it's hard for her. He's not a rich man, and he has to worry about his brother's health and medical expenses all the time. The fortune teller replied that she understands on Earth he has a sibling too, so he can't put his hands down. Immediately, Kai remembered his brother saying that everything was fine and he would fight. It seemed very familiar to him. He thought she looked like his brother. He, too, was eager to evolve into a Devil Star, giving his best for a shared future. But after the responsibility for him and his sister fell on his shoulders, he decided to give up his dream. and once the body reached its limit, the fortune teller asked, did he still need her gear? She'll get it now. Anyway, you'll have to go back to normal someday. Goodbye. And then Kai shouted for her to wait. Next time, Kai introduced himself to her and told her that he would be disconnecting now, but would check in again later. If they still met online, then they could form a team. The fortune teller was surprised and asked in a trembling voice, is it true? Kai answered that yes, if he was lying he couldn't earn any more bunk. The fortune teller rejoiced and said that he was very worried about money. That is why he did not steal it. The fortune teller in the moment ran to him from behind and hugged him, saying she was grateful to him. He is a very wonderful man. Kai came to his land, to his home, and told his brother and sister that they didn't have to work anymore. The brother asked him, is he telling the truth? The sister asked Kai where he got the money from. Is it even legal? Kai asked, what was she even talking about? He had earned the Devil's Star. Now he could pay for his brother's surgery and she could continue her training. The brother asked Kai, he had a hard time, right? Kai replied that it was okay. The brother tried much harder. Kai told his brother not to worry, he'd been through enough. Let him help himself a little. The guys immediately raised their glasses and said they would drink to a real family. Kai in a moment saw his phone ringing. Wei dialed it and said that he had won the bet. Was he free now? And he's sending someone to see him. And he wants him to see it. Kai immediately realized it was Commander-in-Chief Wei, outside the Shengqiao safe zone on the battlefield. CAI said it was here. It's been so long, is this what his childhood town has become? Kai asked Wei why he called him out. And in a moment something screamed that Kai was scared a little and took a stand to attack. Kai took a good look and said, there's a person fighting a beast. Wei replied that currently, every Devil Star traveler who had reached level 20 ranked a certain level in the table. So, travelers from levels 1 to 80, though they have divine power on the Devil Star, it's worthless in life. But the awakened are completely different people. Some at level 81 to 120 become special and gain certain abilities and power that can normally only be used on the Devil Star. Is available to them on Earth. The appearance of this power in real life not only makes a huge difference in the military might of mankind, but also helps to counter the monsters that inhabit the Earth. And this is the most effective help to mankind. At this time, the warriors fought to the last man. They were ready to die. Kai got excited at one point and said the guy killed him. Cool. Wei asked him, cool, right? Would he have known it was a regular beast, but they only have 2 awakened ones at their disposal so far. Kai, things haven't been great these past few days. Don't let him think he's always safe, and he lost the bet, so he's not going to push it. He's gonna ask him to join the army again. As for the 7 Huans, he's made a deal. They won't be touched again. And it's strange why he cares so much, and he thinks it's all intuition. His intuition tells him that he might be able to become the strongest person in Shengqiao. He realizes that Kai only wants to protect his family, and after joining the army, he will have to go to the battlefield, where it is very dangerous. But still, everyone is responsible for the ups and downs of this world. Somebody has to fight the monsters, and in the end, one day, he too will die in battle. But he is a Shengqiao resident, so he is willing to die for his homeland. It is his duty, and he won't force Kaya, and only hopes that one day he can defend his home and fight for Shengqiao. Kai then rested on Earth for a few more days before traveling to the Devil's Star. Kai thought to himself, is Commander-in-Chief Wei that optimistic? Could he really become the strongest in the future? And decided that he would think about it later. The monkey giant from the Ruler Valley was no longer a threat. It was time to meet the other monsters. Kai opened the characteristic and saw that it was a strong monster. It deals the strongest damage, so you can't get closer than 10 meters to it. But you can't attack it from 10 meters away either. Kai thought and saw that the monster looked far more powerful than the ape giant, and he thought, we'll need a teammate. At this time the fortune teller was already falling asleep and wondering where her captain had disappeared to. People saw it and thought she was sick. Kai walked over and asked Hy Yang. She hasn't been waiting for him since the blackout, has she? Yang heard his voice and was very scared. Yang told Kai that she knew he'd come back. She's been waiting for him already. Kai replied that he understood. Yang told him that he promised he would take to fighting monsters. She had found him a strong teammate. The divination showed that the man would come in handy when fighting. Shall I show you? Kai asked. Will it help with the monsters? It's not some drunkard, right? And then a guy came over and said his name was Yuan Yu after saying hello. And he's a drunk. Kai heard his words and immediately started to run away from there. He thought and shouted that he did not agree to this. Yang asked, is he really serious? Let her accept him. He is very obedient and hard-working, and Yuan will do whatever Kai wants. He'll be a great teammate. He's even willing to share the rewards. When Kai heard about the rewards, he immediately ran to him and told Yu his name, and ordered him to be his captain. He saw the talent in him at first sight. Kai held up his hands and said that today they were going banshee hunting. After all, they are one family now. Yu asked Yang, is he serious? Yang replied that they are family and a free laborer. Has he really lost his mind? At this time in the Ruler's Valley, the elite monster Banshee realm had the guys arrive to kill her. The Banshee was a level 20 elite monster. Kai told the guys, the Banshee is much stronger than the giant ape. If they are discovered, they will be killed immediately. We need to be quiet, and I wanted to point out that a Banshee can only get an attack if you stand no more than 10 meters away from it. You have to get closer. Just then Yang shouted to the captain. Kai answered her to be quieter. She immediately turned to him again. Kai told her to calm down. Just then Yang replied to the captain that she didn't say anything. Kai said that if it wasn't her, then who was like thunder piercing their ears? Turning around they saw that it was Yu. Yu was completely out of it and was telling the captain that he was glad he found him, and thanking him. And to drink to his health. The Banshee discovered them in a moment and immediately screamed at the top of her voice. Kai realized that she had found them and they were in danger. Kai asked Yui, what is he doing? Didn't Yang say that he would be useful in fighting monsters? Yang replied that she was only trying to persuade. The Banshee immediately used a heartbreaking scream. The boys were in great danger and needed to react, and then the system said his state had changed. The current state is miserable. Kai said he was scared. That Banshee is very strong. She can't even move. Yang told the captain that they couldn't hold out, so they would have to wait for death. And then Yu woke up and asked, where did such a pretty girl come from? Yu laughed and asked, where did the pretty girl come from? Had she really come for him? Immediately, he grabbed her and took her aside. Yu said it must be fate. And let her allow him to have her fondle her. Those drools are so cute. Yang said that the ability to move had returned. Kai wondered what was going on. Could it be that Yu is controlling the Banshee? Kai realized that the Banshee's heartbreaking scream had time to recharge, so they should deal with her before she used the technique again. Yu immediately plopped the Banshee down on the ground and said she was his lady. May she let him bestow a sweet kiss on her, and she would be his wife from now on. Kai didn't waste any time and in a moment attacked the Banshee to kill her. He fried her completely. Yu was scared and said his wife was dead. The system said the Banshee had been killed. And Kai rejoiced and said it was perfect. Yang was surprised too and said that the captain killed her in seconds. Yu turned to the captain and said that he was a pervert and burned his wife. She cried hard and screamed that she was the love of his life. He couldn't love anyone else. Kai asked how often Yu catches squirrels. Yang replied that he is an alcoholic, he just can't help but drink. Plus, he has a tendency to fall in love with ugly things at the time of drinking. Yang told the captain that she would go get him an elite chest and a Banshee corpse map for now. Kai remembered that he wasn't afraid of the Banshee at all. So you could handle it alone? What people dislike most about drunks is that they get out of control when they get drunk. But is that really a disadvantage? He can ignore his fear, right? In other words, just then, Kai saw Yang walking towards her with the box. He got excited and said that Yui was a real threat to all the Banshees. Yang immediately saw his face and said that he had a very creepy smile. They immediately reached another Banshee hut. Kai saw the Banshee and told Yu that it was all for him. Yu immediately jumped into her arms and said another hottie. The Banshee immediately used the destruction technique. But Yui used complete ignore. He said she was beautiful. She made him drool. Let her treat him to her juices. Yui immediately flipped him off and said she was coming out, she liked him too. Kai realized that everything was going well and the deception had worked. Now we can attack, Yu mocked her and said that he seems to have fallen in love again. A hot night awaits them tonight. The moment they kissed, Kai threw his knife straight at the banshee. That Yu didn't even have time to kiss her, and then there was another explosion and Yu flew up into the sky. The system showed that he had killed the banshee again. Yu said that they're the perverts and burned his wife again. May they be cursed. Kai said it was a beauty. Time to visit the next banshee while he's still under the influence of alcohol. For the next 3 hours, Yu yelled for them not to kill his new 11th wife. Cai didn't stop and set her on fire. Yu had already humbled himself and said that these beasts had killed his 23rd wife. While Cai and Yang were rejoicing over the treasure, Yu kept shouting at them to let him go. But Kai again gathered all the treasures to himself. Kai said it was great. He didn't think he could take out 35 banshees so fast. And it's all thanks to Yui. Yang said she couldn't even dream of such a thing. Kai looked at the system and said that after killing 35 banshees, he was elevated 2 levels at once. Now 14, and the price is a broken heart of a comrade. Yang was right, they could really use him. Yu asked, what did they want to support him? It's useless. Kai saw that he had managed to collect 2 skill cards in the Banshee hut, so now he would be able to get an extra skill. The first skill is praying for rain, thanks to which you can summon rain. You can even create entire lakes and rivers on certain terrain. Kai said that Yang is already at level 29, and her spirit power is much higher than his. So the skill should belong to her as well. Yang asked, is the skill card really hers? She immediately thanked the captain. She finally had new skills. She would finally be able to fight too. Yang told Captain Kai that she would worship him from now on. Kai told her not to do that. Yang used it and shouted that she wasn't scum now. Kai saw that she had another skill activating a hidden skill. Kai looked at the card and the system said that when he used this card, it would activate an additional hidden skill of his profession, but this skill could only be used one time, after that it would disappear. Kai thought and saw that even though it was a disposable skill, it could still be very useful, and then Kai decided that he would activate the additional skill Steal Casino. When this skill is activated, he will be able to steal a few of his opponent's stats and add to his own. Kai said, is that what the effect of the skill is? Kai got angry and said that such a valuable additional skill could only steal characteristics for half an hour. Kai was angry and said that he had over 200 points. But with that skill, you can only steal 2 points. You came to his senses and asked what was wrong with him. Was he asleep or something? And why did his heart hurt? Yang asked you that he had forgotten that he had managed to become a widower 35 times overnight. And then you remembered everything and started throwing up and remembered everything. You apologized to the captain and said that he only hindered them with his profession. If he was not satisfied with it, he could leave the team. Kai asked, what is he even talking about? Yesterday he was a great hero, so that gives him outfits. If it wasn't for him, they'd never have taken out the Banshees. He's the core of their team. You replied that he wasn't. He doesn't need that, the most important thing is that he can be there for them. Kai said for him to recruit, after all, he promised he would treat his comrades well. In addition, Yang is also entitled to equipment, and then in Yang Kai's eyes, he was a handsome and attractive boy and told her that she would also get an outfit, and then they told Caius that they would always follow him. They would even die for him. Kai asked what they were doing. They went straight to the exchange house. The girl met him and told him it was him again, his favorite customer. She said it's amazing. Today, the total amount will reach 840,000 Devil Star coins. Kai replied that it was perfect. 8 for million Shengyao coins. Now he had all the expenses sorted out. At this time in the locker room of the exchange store, Kai was walking around thinking that now not only was there enough to live on, but he could also stock up on things. He decided to buy pants and a cloak to help him sneak around undetected. In addition, he now has armor that will allow him to resist deadly attacks. And then there's the gloves that do the trick. Thanks to the flames, they can spew powerful attacks. Now he feels much stronger than before. Now he can stand up to a level 20 traveler too. Now I'm sure of my success. And then you yelled to the captain that he was here. He's got something here. And anyway, let the captain take a look. Kai raised his hands and asked you, what is he doing? Is he still holding a grudge for the 35 wives he killed? And then you lost the log from his hands and told Kai to dodge. A spark immediately flew from the log straight at him. You told Captain Ci what he thought. He often had to worry about his own safety. So he decided to help him out a little, and now he could rely on the power of a magnet to suck in anything that flew at him. Kai asked, really? So now he has nothing to worry about. Furthermore, this kind of weapon reclining could cause damage to the opponent. And he didn't think that you was that talented. You replied that he had done his own research. Did he really impress him? Kai replied that of course he did. And assured him, and then in a moment it started to rain all at once. Kai turned around and asked what was that all about? You told the captain that he was definitely not fooled, and then Yang shouted to them that she was here. She studied the plea for rain. But it seems to be useless. Kai asked her, could her skills be useless? Let her look at her surroundings. If she was able to amplify the rain, it would even be able to defeat the enemies. The enemy will become a target. He'll kill anyone he wants. Yang asked, really? It turns out that she could be useful. In that case, we'll train even harder. Cai thought that now that Yang and you had gained new skills, their team was much stronger than before. The guys were asking what's with all this rain. Now all the equipment is wet. What if the Huang family starts blaming them for the delay? Kai stopped them and asked them what they had just said about the Huang family. The boys asked him, is he sitting without internet? The guy said that the Huang family guild is going to send 200,000 people to the Permafrost Island to hunt the boss. Defeating the boss will allow you to expand the Devil Star. That's why many travelers go to this boss. Everyone is responsible for the ups and downs of this world. Didn't he know about this news? Kai thought that Huang's family wanted to hunt the country's boss. Would Huan be there too? At present, this beast is rampant throughout the land. Not every country can withstand against it, because you need a lot of resources. But the resources of the Devil Star are guarded by bosses of completely different levels, so you'll have to kill the monster first to get hold of the necessary materials. The level of monsters on the Devil Star varies from low to high. For example, for a king-level boss, you need to gather hundreds of thousands of soldiers to confront him. Does the Huang family really want to make such a massive contribution to become the first on the Devil Star? Or maybe the Huang family decided to reform and stop their atrocities to bring hope to the world. Everyone is responsible for the ups and downs of this world. After all, someone has to stand up and fight the monsters. Has Huan decided to be the one to risk everything for this world? At this time in the Devil Star on the Permafrost Island, Yang turned to Captain Kai. He didn't know it was that cold on the Permafrost Island, did he? Kai replied that of course not. And then someone asked them which team they were from. Don't they know that it is better not to walk on the lake? Kai replied that it was their first time here and why can't they walk here? The boys asked why? Are they new here? As they all know, there is a monster's lair under the island, and they walk on thin ice. Do they know it? Don't they know that they will only alarm the fish? In a moment the ice broke and the fish man came out, slowly breaking off chunks of ice on his way to the guys. The guys said they were idiots. It takes a team of level 20 people to fight a level 22 human fish. As they all know, the fish man specializes in melee attacks. So countering this fish man is quite difficult. The boys said they were definitely finished. But Kai immediately stayed against him and was ready to fight. The guy immediately used his ghost armor and blur. And then the system said that the blur was complete. Kai said he thought the fish would be stronger. He immediately started fighting with him, telling him to go away. The guys were asking about him surviving a human fish attack. What about the level 20 team to kill him? Kai clenched his fists and said that it wasn't so cold now. It was time to go back already. He realized that his strength was now at 76 and a critical hit, dealing at least 15,200 damage, but it was best not to consider it a special bonus. This is only the lowest critical hit damage. His crown is currently rated at level 20, therefore, he is able to defeat his enemies at this stage of development. And then Yang shouted that she had taken the human fish card. Kai thanked her and told them to go upstairs. He turned to his older brother and asked if he knew where Huan was. The boys replied that they were not his elders. They're more like his juniors. They happen to know where he is, somewhere on the permafrost island. Kai thought he didn't want the guys to see their showdown with Huang, so he left them somewhere else. I think the guy said he should be here, right? He wants to talk to him alone.